How do I feel right now? Oh man, 110%. Just set a new world record. I'm at the top of my game. What am I gonna do next? I think I'm going to Disneyland.
Oh, Officer Guy.
Today's word, immunosuppression.
Yeah!
By the end of today's show, students will be able to identify the 5 changes of the immune system that are induced through exercise. Students will also be able to discuss the 5 changes that follow the cessation of exercise. And lastly, students will be able to demonstrate they understand the term open window. We're going to begin with a little pop quiz. First question. How would you, out there in the audience, expect training to affect the level of circulating stress hormones? A, increase, or B, decrease? Good. Question number 2. How would you expect training to affect lymphocyte activity? A, increase, and B, decrease? Good. Third question, referring to the previous 2, with cessation of training, would you expect these levels to A, remain the same, or B, return to baseline? Now we're going to do a little think, pair, share activity. First, you will think, and then you will pair, and then you will be given time to share with all those around you. What does the term open window refer to with regards to exercise? Discuss!
So now for a background on immunology.
The following commercial brought to you by white blood cells, protecting you since birth.
Lymphocytes are white blood cells that specifically react in immunodeficiency events or acute viral infections. T cells are a specific type of lymphocyte and are responsible for cell-mediated immune responses, meaning the T cells become active and attack antigens. B cells are responsible for antibody-mediated immune responses, secreting antibodies into the plasma. So, while T cells are active, B cells stay put. NK cells, natural killer cells, are nonspecific and attack any body cells that seem abnormal or unusual. Neutrophils, which have antibiotic activity, respond to damage from pathogens.
1002, 1003. Oh, hello. With training, there are several acute and chronic changes that occur within the immune system. Exercise increases the amount and activity of pathogen-fighting lymphocytes, such as T cells and natural killer NK cells. Levels of B cells also increase and produce greater numbers of antibodies. Along with these lymphocytes, there is greater activity among neutrophils, engulfing and neutralizing pathogens. All of this is happening with coinciding increases in circulating levels of epinephrine and cortisol. 1023, 1024. Ooh, feel the burn!
After the cessation of exercise, it is suggested there's an open window where immune function is altered because the body looks to return to a resting state from the now increased levels of cellular activity. To start with, the increased levels of cortisol and circulating cytokines, small protein hormones that regulate normal cell function, mean there's an anti-inflammatory force at work. This open window can last between 3 and 72 hours, and pathogens that were once being held in check by increased populations of immune cells could now gain a foothold as those cell levels dropped back towards resting levels. Worse yet, levels of antibodies and lymphocytes can actually drop below resting levels because of the homeostatic factor. Along with a depressed population of immune cells, there is an impaired cell-mediated immunity and inflammation, which increases the risk of viral infection. Analyze this figure by Gleason. Can you describe how it illustrates suppressed immune function?
And now it's time for a review. The 5 changes with exercise are increased epinephrine, increased cortisol, increased circulating lymphocytes, increased lymphocyte activity, and increased activation of neutrophils. 5 changes with cessation of exercise are decreased number of neutrophil in respiratory tissues, decreased lymphocyte levels and function, increased pro- and anti-inflammatory cytokines, decreased level of antibodies in saliva, decreased macrophage capacity to identify and eliminate pathogens. What is the open window? The open window is a period following the cessation of exercise that can last between 3 and 72 hours, where immune function is decreased to a point that it can no longer prevent pathogens from taking hold. Thanks for watching.
I wanna rock!
Hello! I'm a germ, isn't that weird? I am going to go through the window and make you sick. Lower the globe! No globe. I digress.